So here we have to graph an absolute value equation. We notice that we have these absolute value bars in our equation. What that tells us is that this graph will be a V-shaped graph. That really is the most common mistake with these problems, is we just forget to actually make our graph V-shaped. Your V could open up or it could open down, and the point where your two sides come together for your V, this is what we call the vertex. That's going to be the first point that we plot. So let's come over here and look at the equation and figure out what our graph will look like. We have y equals the absolute value of x minus 1 plus 4. So first we want to look to see if we have any horizontal shifting. Horizontal shift, it's shifting your x values side to side. So we want to look in here at the x and see what's happening. And we see that we do have a number in there. We have x minus 1. And what we want to remember about the x is that it's a tricky x. And all year in Algebra 2, we're going to have this tricky x. And what the tricky x does is it looks like we should shift in the negative direction because it looks like a negative 1. But because it's tricky, we're going to shift in the opposite direction. So we're actually going to go to the right one spot. So any number in there with the x is your horizontal shift. Just go in the opposite direction from the sign that you see. Our vertical shift, much more straightforward. If we have a number out here on the end, that plus 4, we want to shift in the positive direction vertically, which means we're going to shift up 4 spots. So we can come over to our graph. The origin, or the vertex, is always at the origin until we start shifting it around. So from the origin, we're going to shift to the right 1 and up 4 based on the shifting we wrote down. So now we want to get the two sides of our V, and we use the idea of slope to help us out with this. What we're looking for is the number that's in front of your absolute value. Right here, when there's nothing there, they could put a 1 in there, because 1 times the absolute value of x minus 1 is just the absolute value of x minus 1. So, if there's nothing in front, make sure we know to use the slope as 1. And what that means we're doing, if we need a rise and a run, let's do 1 over 1. From our vertex, we're going to rise 1 and go to the right 1. Rise 1, go to the right 1. Rise 1, go to the right 1. So here we have the right side of our V. Now to get the left side, we're just going to do kind of the opposite of what we just did. We're still going to rise 1, but now instead of going to the right, we're going to go to the left 1. Go up 1 to the left 1, up 1 to the left 1. And that gives us the same slope for the other half of our graph up here. So there is our absolute value function up there. Just shifted to the right 1 and up 4. Again, when you see the absolute value bars in your equation, remember it has to be a V-shaped graph. Don't forget that, please.